there in the courtroom so she can make sure to get the latest updates, be there to see how Diddy reacts to anything and everything like that. I promise you we'll have Elizabeth Milner on as soon as we can, but it's important for her to be in that courthouse. I'm going to continue to stay here live in the Southern District of New York to bring you the latest, but also we've got Jesse Weber who will be live from the studio. We're going to be with you until we find out an answer for all of this. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Jesse Weber will be here
that he was running
a complicated trial. Do you think the jury will fully understand everything that they are voting on? And Philip, I'm going to toss this one to you. It is confusing. I mean, even for someone like me who's been researching this case for quite some time, the jury instructions were very thorough, but it still can be confusing. Do you think it's at all possible that jurors are confused?
Were to give those same instructions to a room full of judges and lawyers, they'd all be scratching their head in a confounding manner. They wouldn't know how to read them as well or to interpret them. But they have the benefit of having been in that jury room this long to really read through them, try to digest them and truly understand them. And if they don't, they'll ask the court a question. And in fact, wasn't there already a question about distribution? So one of the words they got hung up on and they sought clarification. The problem is courts are pretty handcuffed about how far they can go in defining terms, because one of the most common reasons for reversing verdicts on appeal is instructional error. If you improperly instruct a jury on a point of law, and it could be as something as simple as misdefining one word.
Hey.
It's grounds for a whole new trial.
They stuck on racketeering. I don't know what's going on with this. Can you hear me?
Some people say sometimes they leave the response
Triple darkness
amorphous and just refer them to the jury instructions as already written. And sometimes that's what they got to do. They got to go back and read them. They try to read them in harmony with other ones. They try to discuss it, and then hopefully they can come up with a definition and then reasonably reach a verdict. But it sounds to me like that is precisely what's going on.
Reshape the rest of their life.
And that is what we've seen, right? We've seen a couple of juror questions, specifically juror number 25, unable to follow directions. And the judge was very specific about the wording. To your point, Philip, this is very, very important, the wording that he is going to pass on to them. So he does such. They keep talking for hours and hours and hours. Then they come back asking about distribution of drugs. Now, this one was answered this morning, but again, basically the judge is like, take another look at those notes. We already instructed you. Look at those again. And it does seem that potentially that is helping, because that was this morning, and then it didn't seem like they had another question about that until we're talking about the transcripts. I do have another update from court, a small one. We still don't know the answer to the question, but we do have something. Mark Agnifilo goes forward and returns and hands Sean Combs the piece of paper, and what does he do? He stares at it. So presumably Sean Combs right now is reading whatever this information is in the courthouse behind me. Hopefully soon we're going to have an update on what exactly this question is. In the meantime, I've got another question from one of our viewers. If you are just joining us, there is a juror question, and you can ask us your questions, so make sure to drop those down in the chat. This is a question from Josh Allen is my daddy. LOL, sorry for the name. Hey, it's not one of the, I'm not going to comment on the name. It's not bad. Now, the question is, do the jurors get free food, or do they have to pay for it?
Who cares?
That's the one I have for Adante, because another question is, Smig Dirty TV says, how can I get a hold of Adante to be my attorney? So,
oh my God, I don't have time for that.
Going through and it being counted, was this bribery not proved or proved? Acts involving witness tampering, not proved, proved. Acts involving forced labor, not proved, proved. A lot of this is going to
partial verdict.
The testimony that you heard throughout all of this. Nia potentially, getting working and not getting paid.
The defense attorneys were standing there in a huddle around him. Take us through. I mean, what's playing out if you're on that side of the courtroom in that moment?
So I've been in this position many times where you have a note from the jury and you're making that decision of what do we do. You're getting everyone together and everyone's giving their 2 cents, and you're having this conversation of walking through the idea with your client there so they can absorb everything. Sean Combs is what we would call an intelligent or a complex client. There's someone who is very sophisticated and intelligent, and you can speak to them as if they were an attorney as well. I don't assume that he's not going to be able to understand the strategy that attorneys are going to be breaking down in front of him, and you just kind of put everything on the table, and you have everyone's experience there. You have a lot of attorneys here with experience. You have Alexandra Shapiro, who's a very experienced appellate attorney, who's probably going to give her 2 cents